Good evening. Welcome to the July 24, 2018 Simon Fairfield Public Library Trustees. We have a quorum. Minutes from last meeting. I wasn't there, but I do have a copy and I have read them. Everybody else read them?
What time did you say we started?
It's like 7:12, 7:13. 7:12 is a better number. Okay. Any questions, additions, other recommendations on the minutes? Everybody read them? With that, can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
I'm gonna have to kick you.
Wake me up.
Yeah, that's it. So I got a motion, it's been seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm going to abstain because I wasn't here.
Um,
Yeah. So, treasurer's report. We have some stuff from you, Justin, don't we?
Yes.
Account summary, is that what we're starting with?
Yeah, basically we've got an account summary and cash flow for the entire last fiscal year. The numbers aren't, the accounts aren't officially closed yet because I can't do that without Ramona's signature. But we ended, if you look on the account summary side, you can see basically the ending balances, which are also the beginning balances for the next fiscal year. So that's what was in our special accounts that are not tax appropriated as of June 30th. On July 1st, though, the Simon Fairfield Expendable Trust actually sort of goes back up to 2,900 and something because of the way that the capital gains and loss works. It's beyond me, I don't know, but there's actually more there than that. So total special accounts right now about $99,000 is what we're rolling with. We did underspend on our municipal appropriations a wee bit, not much. We turned back $667.34 on the personnel side, and we turned back $83.55 on the operational side. So that is the volume of the accounts. If you flip it over, you can see the cash flow for our special accounts last year. So what we spent money on and how it came in to lead to those final balances. We actually took in $21,869.35 last year. We only spent $17,635.94 out of our private accounts. So the library's assets grew by $4,233.41 over the last fiscal year.
Questions? Let's have a motion to approve our treasurer's report, please.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Okay. Any comments before we vote? Nice job. You
Yes.
put cash back to him.
Yes, yes.
Wow. Right?
Everything's positive.
Yeah.
Good.
I wanted to wait, Ramona, and they wouldn't let me.
That's okay.
That's all right.
I was babysitting.
Can you sign those?
Please.
Yes.
And we got a motion on the floor to accept a treasurer's report. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And we get Ramona's signature, so that other part that you mentioned is null and void. The next one is you. You're up there. Director's report.
So June was not a very good month for circulation. I don't know what that was about. Circulation in the month of June was down by about 10% of where it was last year. And But, you know, looking at the last 30-day circulation numbers for how things are shaping up in July, July seems like it's shaping up to be fairly normal. But just because of that abnormality, I wanted to kind of do some digging. So if you flip over, what I did was I charted that whenever I give you the CERC reports, there's the total usage metric at the bottom. And that factors in the circulation of our stuff, Overdrive, ebooks, database sessions, local history use, computer use, wireless sessions, basically, you know, like a number that demonstrates, you know, how much are people using the library. And it jumps around a lot. And it might be because, you know, there's a lot of factors that can go into it. But on the top, you see basically the usage metric since I started, as far as basically the last 3 years. And I parceled apart the year with little thin blue lines, if you can see them. And there's a couple really significant shoot downs. One is in 2016 in April. That's whenever there was the big override discussion about the schools that got pretty hairy. You know, there was the other override this past year, and circulation didn't drop quite so much, but, you know, that's probably because the library is what was being discussed. I have no idea what was going on between August and December of 2017, but circulation went down there too. So I started comparing trends across years. So what I did in the second graph underneath is overlay all 3 years against each other and then plot the average just to see if, just to look at the seasonal trends. And there are seasonal trends. I mean, we know that, you know, December is always our worst month for circulation. And July and August tend to be our biggest months for circulation. But there's some other little jumps that happen every year that I don't know how to explain. Like every year our circulation peaks a little bit in January, but then goes back down in February, then peaks again in March and goes back
That's so
down
odd.
in April.
Yeah.
And
School
it does this
vacation.
every single year. And I guess you could plot it to school vacations, you know, people coming and going for stuff, and publication cycles.
And February is a short month.
And February is a short
So
month.
say March has 3 more days, so
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
a good percentage, could be.
And this March, you know, I was expecting it to be bad because we were closed a lot in March, but it still jumped up. Anyway, I don't know where I'm going with this data. I just thought that it was neat and interesting and pretty, so I thought I would share it with
And
you.
it's in color.
And yeah,
It's
maybe
color-coded. I
Yeah,
like
be
that.
cool.
Yeah, but it does, I mean, December is, at all libraries, is the low
Mhm.
point. And so you're
Everybody's
reflecting the
busy
trend.
in the holidays.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. They're very,
And March is always good.
yeah.
And so
I,
is
um,
August, yeah. July
March
and
is
August.
good because there's not that many holidays, I think.
Oh,
There's not that many holidays.
And
I
it has
don't
a
think
lot
there
of
are
days.
any, are there? There's no holidays
No.
in March.
well, it's March.
Holidays.
That's not a
Well, in
holiday.
Boston, do you have a holiday?
Yeah, the
Oh, yeah, like Stabby
Patriots
Day.
Day or whatever it is, or
No,
no.
St. Patrick's Day.
Sometimes there's
Patrick's Day.
Easter, St. Patrick's
Well, as
Day.
they
Yeah,
call
see, there you
it,
go.
evacuation day.
But usually,
The
March has
onslaught
no
of spring.
holidays.
No. People look at me off St. Patrick's Day.
But yeah, after looking at the seasonal trends and seeing where June of 2017 kind of plots compared to last year's, it didn't make me feel quite so bad. Because it's still kind of reflecting the trend. And in July, I think that we'll bump up above. And spending was kind of anemic going into June too, because it's the end of the cycle, and I didn't want to buy a bunch of stuff and submit bills for it until I knew,
Where you were
coming
going.
up right on the end of the fiscal year, because I like to have a whole bunch of Baker and Taylor invoices that I can submit to get our operational account, as low as I can, so that we're not turning back a lot of extra money. But so that's that stuff. In other news, summer reading program is ongoing. It's been really successful so far. One change is that we're going to have a dance studio coming in for the next Arts and Crafts Day instead of it actually being an Arts and Crafts Day. I'm reaching out to a lot of different programmers to get some adult programming going for this fall and this winter, because the Friends of the Library have given us a generous programming budget moving forward. And that's all I got right now.
Please mention that.
Oh yes, Deb. Deb was actually honored twice. Once was a Girl Scout troop. They were sort of picking women that they find inspirational in the community, and one of them picked Deb. So Deb got to go deliver a short speech and was honored at a ceremony. It was very nice. And Deb was also picked by a elementary school student, I think, for like their community role model. And so she went
Yeah.
to the school and had lunch with the kids on that day.
Oh,
Oh, that's nice.
So it's been a nice
Yeah.
been a nice month for Deb. Some credit. Library and cred.
It shows we have
Hey.
good staff.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's all good. If it's publicizing the library in a positive way, it's all good.
Okay.
And let me put the library, we had the library pass a story.
Yes, we did. And a write-up about
And the authors,
the authors party.
Yeah.
The author's story.
Well, I've been trying to get us in the papers more, and Barbara has been very helpful as a publisher of the paper.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
An old person.
Old people, yeah, we
Yeah.
always have to say, this is gonna make the old people happy.
Yeah, someday I'm gonna have a headline, hey, old people,
Yeah, that's it.
Old people.
this is for you.
Well,
We had someone come into the library today looking for a phone book.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
A Douglas phone book. I was
Yeah.
like, does a Douglas phone book exist? I'm
Yeah,
not
they used to.
sure.
They
They
used
used
to
to,
have
but I don't
one,
think
yeah.
they do anymore.
No, they do. I get
And
one.
he,
Well, yeah, they're Worcester, aren't they?
Yeah, it covers Douglas, but
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
Douglas
yeah.
is there. Oh, do you remember the old ones that we used to get? It was just
Yeah.
Douglas? Yeah.
Yes, the little.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen one of those in years.
well, he started out a little bit angry because we didn't have a Douglas phone book. I was like, well, just let me help you. What are you after? Who you looking for? And I sent him away with like a Google map to their house and a phone number and address and all this stuff. I was like, see, this is much more creepy. The internet is very wonderful and very creepy.
You could have sent him to the phone booth that's down the street, right? And he'd be,
Yeah.
that's right, that's the point of it. Yeah, go down the street, there's a phone booth, and it's got a phone book in it. Right? Just to get rid of them.
Oh no, he was nice. He was
That's good. Well, okay. Any questions for the director and director's report? And if not, I can move on to old business. Building, capital projects, funding, and I got a highlighted front step rail. It's still there, isn't it?
No,
No,
there never was one.
Oh,
there's a rail going down the front steps, but from the step down, where the big concrete slab is at the bottom of the stairs, down to the sidewalk. There's nothing there.
No, it's just the big concrete slab.
It's just a big concrete slab, and then it goes right down to the sidewalk. And,
Okay.
There's a step
Betty
down
was
too.
pointing it out
Yeah.
last week, and
And we
the fact
had
that there's
a
nothing to
lady
pull yourself up on.
at the book sale that fell all over that too. So, I mean, there's several people and this senior that I ran into said she couldn't get into the library because she couldn't get up that first step.
So what I'm looking at trying to get is, I had a note about this somewhere.
nope, not enough.
No, it's not on there. It's somewhere in here. Yeah, Norfolk Ironworks. I was pursuing a quote from them to make a single post non-overlapping rail for that sidewalk step down, because whatever we put there can't overlap the corner.
Yep.
Because of the sidewalk plows. So anything that overlaps the corner is just going to get knocked down. So it has to be, and there's a style of that. It's called a a hot tub style rail because it's something that you like grab onto to pull yourself up and whatnot. It, yeah, I reached out to Norfolk Ironworks. I have not heard back from them. If I don't hear back from them within the next day or two after I poke them again, Adam has a contact for a carpenter that he recommended I get in touch with because he's creative about such things and we can get something there. It ought not be difficult or too awful expensive because, I mean, basically we're just looking for a single post rail that comes up and kind of like
Is it cement at that end, or is it one of those granite blocks?
it's
It's
cement, so it'll be easy to drill.
It can be drilled and adhered right into it.
So if we went a little bit more money-wise, we could just basically chisel the thing out and then just slope that whole front walk down?
No, not thick enough.
Not thick enough?
And it also is,
We just need that,
it's at a,
just one piece of wrought iron.
That looks good.
It looks like that, so that someone can grab onto it from either side and pull themselves up and down.
the
Steady themselves going down.
the sidewalk goes down at an angle,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but the cement is there at its level. So that's what creates the step. So
Right.
to shave that off would be astronomical.
Okay.
I wouldn't want to do it. Probably the ideal way to do it is cut it out, destroy it all, and then pitch it all the way to there, which we just got that fixed and done, so I don't think that would happen.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's just, I mean, it's
Yeah.
nice, it's sort of flat now.
Yeah.
And if you pitched it, then people would,
It would really goof you up.
yeah, it would,
Yeah.
it would. So I like that
No.
design. I think that's really nice.
Just need a bar,
Yeah.
Grab bar.
grab bar.
Okay. Next on the list, we don't need funds allocated because we have no funds for that, right? No idea.
Next time I'll have
Something.
a estimate or a quote.
Okay. The basement post.
I've got 90% of what I need to fix that. My little foam puzzle pieces have come in that we're going to wrap around the edges, and I've got some colorful duct tape that I'm going to use to kind of affix the edges together. So that stuff just came in today.
Good.
The foam things did. We tried, because Gail found some cheap big ones at Ocean State Job Lot, and she brought them in, and we tried to do it like a test run with those, but they were too big, and you would have to fold it over. It wouldn't have worked well, but the ones I have will work. I've already taken them apart, got them out. It's just a matter of getting them affixed to the bricks.
And that's to prevent the kids from injuring themselves.
Is to prevent kids from whacking their heads into the brick posts while they're running around downstairs. Which, we could say, we'll just tell the kids not to run around downstairs.
No,
But
that's
now we
not
have
gonna
a
happen.
music and movement program, so
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
yeah.
telling them to run around.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. 5-year plan, trustees input.
Well, I still want to go back to the building capital projects funding, and you had 2 leads that you were looking in, rich people that might be able to.
I have reached out. I'm waiting to hear a response. And
Okay,
if that
good.
doesn't work, then I guess I'll just show up on the lawn.
Good.
Or next meeting. I'm trying to avoid that, but.
All right, so can I go,
Yes,
we all set to go to the
yeah.
5-year plan? Okay. 5-year plan. How do we even know what we're doing in next week?
No, I wanted short little vignettes from everybody. Everyone, instead of vignettes, defaulted to bullet lists. So I have bullet lists from Ellie, Danielle, Barbara, and Ramona. And you're working on one. I'll compile this and make like a little word cloud and stuff and do some textual analysis before the next meeting. And
Don't try to scare us, just,
Yeah, we'll start.
you won't get nothing from us.
I'm not trying to scare you. I like those word clouds, where you get all the text, you put it together
Oh,
in a
yeah,
big
yeah, yeah,
blob,
yeah.
and then you
Yeah.
see, what
Yeah.
kind of comes to
Really
the
stands out,
surface
yeah.
the most. And, looking at it, I can already tell that, collaboration is a big piece, program technology comes up a lot, support for older populations, the schools, and so yeah, we'll get all this into our long-range plan before it needs to be submitted to the MBLC, which will be fallish. I'll do get a community survey out and talking to people. I have right now interest groups that are just kind of ready-made because of all the people who are coalescing around trying to save the library. And I mean, we've kind of already had a lot of these conversations. A lot of it is just putting it down on paper and trying to get a good 5-year guiding document out there that has contingency plans, like sort of like the primary plan being to work towards a more open and accessible and modern facility, and then, contingency objectives in the event of that not happening. Because my first 5-year plan was kind of flowery. This
I was
one's a
trying to
little
remember
more-
what it was. I was gonna go look at it.
I had been a library director for like a week. Don't look at it.
I remember. You stepped right into it.
It's probably in here somewhere.
Like 5-year plan. I want to make it creative.
Yeah.
I just want books. Books.
It's just like I just want to circulation.
Put it
Circulation.
on all of my bullet points.
Books.
And
Okay. Next is Friends.
Friends had
How much did we make?
we made $669.
Excellent.
Fantastic.
No sense. There was not one penny, nickel, dime, or quarter in it.
All
That's
folding money.
all folding money. It was,
Good job.
Yeah, I've never experienced that before.
Wow.
So it was very rewarding, I thought. And Justin did a lot of help. Some of his staff helped us too, and some of the friends helped us as well. So it went smoothly. Good weather, and we didn't die except for Justin feels a little.
some of the vote yes people were there helping too.
Yes. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We got everything back in the basement in order too, which is something that's never happened before.
Right, and that was between Kate and Justin doing that. I didn't have anything to do with it.
So for Oktoberfest, it's all ready to just like bring back out,
Yeah.
without a whole lot of organization and stuff. It's
Wow.
just-
That's
It was
fantastic.
beautiful. Ran like a machine.
Yeah, so thank you. And I also deposited a check for $20 today with the cash, and it was from the Network for Good. Do any of you know what that is? It sounds like a middleman type of GoFundMe type of place, but it was, and they give to,
Network for good.
yeah, that's what it says on the envelope. I kept all the blurb stuff. But I'm not sure if they were just testing us out as a 501c3 thing, or if somebody in Arkansas, your in-laws or something like that, said, oh,
Let me donate to the library.
$20 and I'll do it through Network for Good. And they're located in Washington DC.
They're
So that
keeping you
was,
employed.
yeah, so okay.
That's gonna bug him. He's gonna have to research it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just that's exactly where they are. Is they're a middleman to connect donors to.
Yeah.
In fact, that's like the very first Google search. Why am I receiving money from Network for Good?
They are a middleman.
It does sound vaguely familiar, but Network for Good is pretty
Pretty generic
pretty
sounding.
big.
Yeah.
Yep, I'll take it.
Okay.
I may have to use them because I still cannot find my checkbook.
Oh,
Okay, now you know
I
about
need
it.
to tear my desk apart. Find that thing.
Oh, and we get to keep Mary Shagru Yasino. We get to keep her
Yeah.
cousin as
Yeah.
as president of the Friends of the Library. She was going to step down because she's moving to Northbridge. But as Ellie pointed out, there's nothing in the bylaws that says, you know, you can't be on the executive board of the Friends of the Library. If you don't live in Douglas, she still plans on being involved, so.
Yeah, I chatted with her in the parking lot
I think that's
tonight,
why
and
her father
so she was,
stepped down from the board
Hmm?
when he moved to Northbridge. He was a lifetime member of
Yeah.
the trustees.
Yeah, y'all can't move, but Friends of the
Friends
Library
of
can
the
move.
library have more freedom. That's good.
Okay, moving on. Wireless router replacement. You need this because your paper, your scratchings on it.
I signed the quote and it's ordered. So CW Mars has to order the equipment. Once they get it, we'll schedule a time for them to come and install it.
Cool.
Then we'll pay the $900 and then we'll have better, faster Wi-Fi
Good.
that will be supported for the next 5 years.
And the
that
next one
way
after-
your circulation will go up in June.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That way all the kids can come back in again. They came in, they saw that they could not get all this all online at once, and decided they would go to the McDonald's the next town over.
You don't have a McDonald's. We're your best bet. Although it's amazing how many Wi-Fi hotspots you can see from the library.
All with padlocks.
Yeah, you can't log into them, but you can see them there.
It's not like in the old days. I could pull over anywhere on the way out of Boston and get on to get back into work, wherever I was, but now everybody has a lock.
Yeah. Ebooks is next.
Let's see. The last meeting we talked about the demand for ebooks because after the during discussions on Facebook leading up to this override. Why am I doing this? I had posted it, about Overdrive on Facebook a lot and had created a form that people could use to sign up for library cards online. And then I had mentioned that there's a request, an RTL, request to the library button. So if someone wants something from CW Mars's Overdrive, they can put it on hold. They have to wait for it. I can see what people are waiting for, but I couldn't really see what people wanted that wasn't there to begin with, so they couldn't put it on hold. So the RTL button lets people recommend things for the library to purchase that are not in the Overdrive collection at large already. Once people became aware of that button, they started using it, and they started using it furiously. I've been tracking, the barcodes, like the user IDs of these requests, and it's not all the same person. It is just a bunch of different people have started using Overdrive and have started asking us to buy the things that they want to read, which I think is great because, it's just pure democratic collection development, and if they want to read it, then odds are they're going to recommend it to somebody else or know someone who will. So we at the last meeting we had talked about using, and it was voted to approve spending $2,000 just to fill that demand before the fiscal year turnover. I only actually ended up spending $1,000 because it was a contested vote, and I didn't feel good about it. So we spent $1,064.48. Right now, there is nothing that people are waiting for in terms of the request for purchase. I'm keeping up with that. That's why there's all these Overdrive invoices in this. If someone recommends something for purchase, more likely than not, I'll just go ahead and get it. A lot of times,
And will they know if you've done that?
yes, and I think I've heard already, it's building a really, really good rapport with people who feel like their needs are being directly met by the library, because I've heard from at least 2 or 3 different people. It's like, I was so happy whenever I saw that, my book that I requested was bought and popped up in my email. I think that's a good goodwill generator.
now, I was, and I didn't purposely describe it in detail because but I thought the $1,064 was being used from your operating budget because you still had like $4,000 left with 4 days to go.
Most of that, I was mistaken, was actually tied up because I can't spend from operational to personnel.
Okay.
So like I ended up turning back $667 in personnel money that I would have loved to have spent on ebooks, but because of the way the bylaws work, you can't. It counts as different appropriation, so I couldn't spend it.
All right, and I guess, okay, it was taken out of library grants, all right.
Yep.
So,
So I spent $1,064.48
library.
of grant money on meeting the demand on the
Ebook.
recommends for purchase and the holds that people were waiting on. Whittled it down a little bit. Now there's 144 licenses on hold, which amounts to $7,442.59.
well, that's what you had mentioned before, the 7,000 wanting.
Yep, that was as of today. 744259 is what people have on hold.
But the 1,064 was items, the ebooks that weren't in any collection.
Yes.
Yeah, there was a thing on Facebook today from my course director about the holds on ebooks. She was,
It's interesting.
I want to do it now.
Everybody
Everything's on
I
hold.
teach Overdrive to ends up being an Overdrive junkie, and they just start using Overdrive all the time.
Just pretty
Um,
addictive, I have to say.
And I'm requesting a free trial of another platform called Canopy, because I've seen a lot of people posting on Facebook, Kanopy. A lot of people have been posting on Facebook about cutting the cable cord and moving to the Amazon stick, the Roku thing, Hulu,
Yeah,
whatever.
Roku,
Yeah,
you can
There
do
are a few
Netflix
different
and
ones.
Hulu and
Yeah. There's hundreds of channels you can pull on the Roku's.
There's
stick.
a
And what was that one, the KN?
Kanopy.
Kanopy.
And there's Canopy is kind of in the same family as Hoopla. I don't know if y'all have heard of Hoopla. But
Does that sound familiar?
a lot of libraries offer Hoopla. And the way Hoopla works is you basically get into their collection as a library. You give your patrons access. You don't actually have to pay anything for that access, but then you pay per circ. So if a patron goes in, and they have lots of streaming video, streaming audio books, and lots of comics. They have tons of comics. And so a patron can go in there and they can borrow a comic, and then you'll just get like a 10-cent bill or whatever for it, which is
That's good.
great.
Yeah.
But I have been avoiding it because I don't like having 5 different places to send patrons to look for things. It's like, okay, we'll go look for it in Overdrive. If you can't find it in Overdrive, look for it in Access 360. If you can't find it in Access 360, maybe you'll be able to find it in Hoopla. And so I haven't gone down the Hoopla route, and not many libraries and CWMRs have, because our Overdrive offerings at this point are pretty rich. And magazines now too. Now where they're starting to get into magazines. I mean, we've already gotten 8 e-magazine checkouts in like the week that it's been active. Because those are cool, because those are simultaneous use license. Everyone in Douglas could check out, the newest issue of Yoga, or Car and Driver at the same time, without it
wow.
stepping
I
on
like
each other's
that.
toes. So that's an Overdrive now too. There's a button on the website. I added another button specifically for that that'll take you to an Overdrive page dedicated to the magazines. But anyway, back to Canopy. What we don't have right now is any good streamable video. And for a long time, DVD circulation is kind of what kept library circulation numbers afloat, because people check them out a lot. And with all of these people talking about not using cable anymore and moving to these other services, What Canopy is it's kind of like Hoopla in that you buy into it, or you don't buy into it. You just get access into it. You set up your accounts. You get everything set up on the IT end, and then patrons can log into Canopy with their library cards. Well, it also has channels on all these things. So like you can use Canopy from your Fire Stick or your Hulu thing or your Roku, all this stuff. And it is like curated, it leans more towards kind of didactic and educational stuff. So like they don't have all of like the most recent blockbuster movie releases and whatnot. But I mean, we keep those in DVDs. We usually buy, a DVD or two of those. But what it provides access to is tons and tons and tons of documentaries, and of like the Criterion collection. So you can go in, I don't know if you're familiar with the Criterion collection, but like all of the best critically acclaimed movies of all time.
Cool.
It provides a more curated educational
Okay.
selection of stuff. Documentaries, classics, and even a lot of just straight up educational stuff for kids as well as adults. So I wanted to get a free trial of that this month and see how it goes. And then if it goes well, maybe consider staying in, and you can set all sorts of limits on it. So you can set to where, because you don't want to put it out there and then have someone sit on their couch with their Hulu remote and immediately download 15 movies and not watch any of them and cost the library a whole lot of money. So you can limit circulations per barcode. You can limit circulations per day. I know with Hoopla, what some of the bigger libraries do is they're like, okay, as a patron, you can borrow, 5 Hoopla titles in a day. But the library's only going to loan 2,000 Hoopla titles in a day. And then the faucet turns off. So like, do your stuff before 1 o'clock, because after that the line is closed. We're not loaning anymore because it would strain the budget too much. But yeah, that's something I'm kind of excited about to add to ebook, because right now we have good ebooks, we have good audiobooks, we don't have any streaming video. I don't think we can try to compete with Netflix or Amazon Prime or Hulu or anything like that for offering just the more popular kinds of entertainment that people can stream online. But I think that we might be able to carve ourselves out a niche with kind of this more stuffy stuff.
I'm busy.
It's my brother.
Okay. Any other old business? New business? The fall town meeting, fund transfer.
So, if you remember March the 6th, or May the 6th, whenever that was, at town meeting, in the initial budget, we were not funded.
That's correct.
And there was a line item of $2,701 basically to keep the heat on so the pipes wouldn't freeze. And then in the contingency budget, the supplemental budget, the language added our appropriation to the budget. What no one thought about at the time was that $2,701 didn't go away. So technically that's still part of my electricity budget. So instead of my electricity budget being, like 3,000 whatnot it's
5,000.
It's 5,701. So Gene and town administration would like in the fall town meeting to transfer that back for use elsewhere.
I don't object.
Otherwise, our budget will be $230,000 and $273, or which would be great and fun, but
Christmas lights around the whole building.
Solar panels on the ceiling.
Yeah.
on the roof, on
Yeah,
the
that's
ceiling,
right.
we wouldn't get much traction. Unless you
Well, your
put
bright
mirrors on the floor.
Sun,
Yeah.
smiles would light up those solar panels.
Yeah, there's not many bright smiles right now. The building is sticky, and I think everyone's just kind of under the weather. And summer reading has us all stressed out, man. It's like tense. The kids were supposed to tie-dye the t-shirts, and they started tie-dyeing each other instead. And the volunteers we have this year are all new. Like, all of our seasoned volunteers have kind of graduated and moved on. So the volunteers are like, all right, we're just going to throw tie-dye paint everywhere. It's good. Deb had fun that day.
I bet.
Yeah, she earned her award.
Do we have to do anything to transfer that money or to be there? Or there's no vote or anything
Just like
that?
vote to support it or something. It'll be in like those articles that are sort of business as
The
usual.
housekeep-
The
that's a
housekeeping
housekeeping
articles.
thing.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
So we don't need to have a vote or anything like that?
No.
You're good.
Unless we plan on like trying to
Keep it.
keep it. But-
No, I think we should vote and say, you know, I'll make a motion to
Okay,
support transferring $2,701 back to the town at the fall town meeting.
okay. I got a second?
Second.
All right. Any more questions or discussions on that? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. All right, now, next line item, guideline for donations. And Simon Fairfield Expendable Trust. Enlighten me.
Okay, so stemming from the conversation we had last week about ebooks and spending grant money on it, I guess it's kind of a philosophical question because we have money that we get every year through grants and donations that does not go into interest-bearing accounts, so it doesn't do us any good in the long run. In terms of earning any more money, and it's unrestricted, so like we can literally spend it on whatever we want. And we ended last year with 4,233 more of those dollars than we started with. So I guess my question is, do we want our mode of operation moving forward to be that we spend the money that's donated or that we save it for rainy days later? Because I feel like that there's differing opinions on this, and we should kind of just decide how we want to proceed. And like a concrete example is the Simon Fairfield and the S. Fairfield Expendable Trust. The trust that's there with the $10,000 that can't be spent, with the expendable part, which is $2,900-ish right now, because after you factor in the capital gains, which doesn't show up because this was an end of year statement. Should we be spending that on children's books?
That's what it was meant for.
Or should we be keeping it in case sometime in the future we don't have a budget for children's books, and spend it on children's books then? So, like in the meantime, one idea I had was, what if we spent it on specifically on collections of books commonly used in homeschooling curriculum, and start like a homeschool curriculum stuff. I've bought some Charlotte Mason books just for the collection in general, and they're never on the shelf. They're always gone. And since Carrie's homeschooling Ephraim, and we're sort of getting involved in all these communities, I'm getting a feel of what people are after. There's like these Life of Fred books that are common, and they have these fairs periodically where people get together and have like their own sort of like homeschooling book sale groups. And I ran into Lori Jensen Colbert there, and it's like Black Friday, because everyone goes in and they're after like their Life of Freds or the Stories of the World or whatever they're after. So I mean, we could spend the expendable trust on that, and just as soon as whenever it accumulates money, use it to update that collection. But I don't want to talk about this anymore. I want y'all to talk about it and sort of give me direction.
Well, looking at it in that way for home teaching, it is for children. Obviously, you're not home teaching adults, so it would still fall under the umbrella of being for children. And I think homeschooling, especially nowadays with everything that's happened in the schools, is becoming more and more popular. And more people are doing it. So I think it's a wise idea.
But because people are afraid to send their kids to school.
Yeah. I know somebody that hadn't planned on homeschooling, but after this last incident, said, oh no, that's it. I'm homeschooling. I'm homeschooling. I don't want that kid out of my sight. You know.
Yeah.
Any other comments?
I agree with Ramona. I just, if it's just for the Simon Fairfield Expendable Trust interest, which is that $2,700, I think that's fine. You know that I'm very conservative as far as money goes, and I scream bloody murder every time anybody wants to spend a dime, but I don't want willy-nilly the rest of the trust to go, and they have been expended down quite a bit. So, and I know they're not supposed to call them trusts, they're grants or whatever.
Yeah.
But that, for that particular trust interest, I think that's a
Yeah.
decent idea. And I think we shouldn't try to, again, from a conservative point of view, I think that the budget that we have for, that the town has provided for the library is pretty generous. And, I don't see any reason that we have to go outside of that using these funds. And I think they should be rainy day funds mostly. But if they've been designated, as Ramona
Yeah.
has pointed out, that the expendable trust, this Simon Fairfield Expendable Trust, is for children's materials.
Yeah.
So it's already been
It's from
determined
Richard
by the
Douglas, yeah.
trustees to do that. So-
Well, I would take a motion, always, to spend that money down. And you just, if it's not working, you vote no. Very simple, right? And that we would just, we do ask after we want to spend something, where can we get the money? And, and if we're buying, I don't know, new monitors, we don't take it out of that fund. But if you're buying it for something for children's, then it can be earmarked. Okay? And that, let's not, that in person who, this funds, all this, they intended us to use them. And that's what the board, that's what you guys are here for, right? To use them and use them wisely.
And that's where the contention was last meeting.
Yeah.
Because there was money and there were people waiting for books and wanting books and
Yeah.
so.
So let's use it. If it makes sense, use it. And then just always remember that Simon Fairfield, that one's just for children's stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure you will.
The original grant was
Yeah.
from Richard Douglas,
Mhm.
and the interest to be used for children's books only.
Okay.
But I don't think it actually has to come from us, as long as you follow that route in that particular trust.
He's looking more for guidance.
Yeah.
So I can spend that.
You can spend that,
On the homeschooling materials, yeah.
yes.
Are these materials most homeschoolers would use, or?
Yeah, I wanted to get in touch because our homeschoolers use the library a lot.
Yeah, no,
Um,
they definitely deserve
There's
some love.
Oh yeah, there's
Especially because a lot of them.
about a half a dozen
We're out there
families who drive a
campaigning
lot
for
of a lot of circulation of children's books, and I know what they want.
So let's provide it. I don't think, because,
No.
yeah, let's provide it. So do you think we need a motion, or because has the ability to just use that money?
Listen, anybody can bring up a motion. So does that mean that you just made a motion? And-
Yes.
all right.
I so move that we use the S. Fairfield Expendable Trust interest to purchase some books for the homeschooling children.
Okay, we got a second?
Second.
Okay. Any other discussion? Right. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Okay, this one's a tough one, the electrical outlet. What's up?
All right, I have a plan.
Okay.
There's an electrical outlet on the outside of the building that is only used on Oktoberfest.
Oh,
Yeah, I remember that.
It's used once
Pete
a year.
had that put in.
Yes.
I want to get another one put in because the so-call is every year their setup is bigger and better and glitzier, and they have even more pierogies and more potatoes and sausages, and it's wonderful and glorious. But
They need more room.
well, they need more power. They so far we've gotten by bringing in an electrical cord and through the window and just plugging it into one of our indoor outlets. 2 years ago, I had to find another circuit so that I could plug them into two different places so that it wouldn't overload one breaker. Last year, I had to find 3 different places to plug them in so that they were on 3 different circuits, and we were still flipping them like crazy. So they usually donate to the library. This year, what I would like to do is approach them. I'm getting a quote for what it would cost to put in another panel. And I just kind of want to see if this year, instead of donating what they usually donate, they will just pay to have a panel put in that they can have exclusive access to in former Oktoberfests. That way, we don't have this problem anymore.
Do you think they have somebody that's a member of the club that is an electrician that could do it for free? I mean, that might be,
I don't know. I should ask.
yeah, because that would.
That would
sort of-
help.
That would
Yeah.
help, it would just be the.
Yeah, just do it.
Materials.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, well, yeah,
I'm sure they do, I'm sure there must be an electrician.
maybe the Sokals would just pay for
Yeah.
the materials and the electrician donate his time.
We're becoming kind of a hub of Oktoberfest, which
Mhm.
is great.
Absolutely, it's important.
But we need more power.
Yeah.
Gotta have more power.
Okay.
Okay, any other new business? No? Okay, well, I have some new business that I want to bring forward, and it's not pleasant. This is my resignation from the board. And there's lots of reasons. This spring, the election, it irritated me. I can't deal with this anymore. It's government, it's how things run. I don't feel I'm successful here. I know everybody will say, oh yeah, you are. I joined on years ago to get ADA into the building. I have a son that's handicapped, and it's not happening. I'd like you to move on to somebody and look for somebody that can push this. I'm not doing it. I have some great strengths, there's things like that, but one of my strengths is I like to complete things, and I'm not. So it's not an easy effort to come here. I think it's my time, and I'm going to move on. On that, all of you, and even the people that were here, man, there's some great people. You are awesome. All right? I see a different person than the world I work in every day, and I'm not exposed to that very often, so thank you very much. It makes me look at the world differently. Okay? And so with that, I thank you. But as of the close of this meeting, I'm retiring. I don't know, I'm 15, 16 years on the board. You guys have been great. I also am, what is it, an alumni or something, and so you can preserve another person with my place, and they don't need to be elected. And it's always troubles. Right.
You're a lifer.
Yeah, I'm a
You're a
lifer.
life member.
Yeah, that's right. So that'd be cool. And there are a bunch of new friends and things like that. I want to open it up, and let's get somebody in here that maybe can avoid the disaster of, or almost disaster we had this spring.
I don't think you should discount how instrumental you were in getting that done.
Yes.
I know,
Without your standing there and making the case with total credibility, I don't think it would have happened.
and you're right, and thank you, but you know what? That infuriated me. I stand there, and I'm a person that I go there, I say what we're gonna do, this is what it's gonna happen, this is what it's gonna cost, I'll do it in a timely manner, and we go on. It's very frustrating for my personality to deal with this. I'm like, give us the money, stop playing the game. And I can't, and I've had enough of it. I apologize, I've been bugged by this, that's why I wasn't here last meeting, for the longest time, and it's my time, I'm done, all right? But I've enjoyed it, we've met some neat people, and
Yes.
I'm looking at both these, we've had some cool people in here, and things that didn't go the way we wanted, and things that did. And so I got that, and I appreciate that. But it's time for a change, all right?
I'm gonna.
All right. Thank you. That's for you, Ellie. I have one going to the selectmen or Jean or something. Do you need a copy?
Sure.
Sure, you get a copy, all right?
But we won, Joe.
I know, we won just by the skin of our teeth. And I spent many a night up going, man. We did win, and it was a good pulling together. But I sit there going, what happens in 2 years when they don't have money and they want to pull our funds? I'm sorry, I don't want to be there for that. It's just wrong, okay? Really is. And they say, well, we're fine for 6. It kept bothering me that, wow, I could be the last board of director or, chairman that went,
Chairman of the board.
took the library down. And I'm like going, man, it's not my purpose why I was here. But again, thank you. You guys have been great, right? I'll miss you. I'll watch you on TV. All right?
And throw spitballs at the people you don't like.
Oh, it's all of that, we have to be, I enjoy the conversations that don't happen, and you don't know how many times I was scolded by Mitch for what happens, and it's just, boy, politics are awful, unfortunately. And in this business, we gotta deal with it, I didn't vote for you. I'm the only one that didn't vote for you, and I appreciate you every single time. I voted for the woman. Right? But I'm glad that you're here.
I voted for him.
Yeah, everybody else did. Right? So,
I watched myself get hired 2 weeks before I was contacted by any of you guys.
Oh, yeah.
that's good.
It's like, okay, so what do I tell people I've got the job or not? Because
Yeah.
I watched it happen, but they haven't gotten that.
Yeah, well, that was a good choice.
Have you ever seen Warehouse 13?
No.
No, it's a sci-fi show. Has anyone else ever seen Warehouse 13?
No, I'm not a sci-fi
Artie.
Yeah.
He's Artie.
Well, so with that, this is my last meeting. Our next meeting, or your next meeting, is August 28th. A motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right, I got a second? And as always, a standing vote. And thank you for the years and your time. It takes a lot for what, people don't appreciate what we have to do.
Yeah.
They really don't.